Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you, or well, show you how, if you've got a squealing drive wheel, what's going on, what bad things can happen, and you know how you have to back off on the stump, it squeals, and you go, oh crap. All right, just give me a second and we'll get right into it. Okay guys, so here we go. This is the way to do it here. Now you're getting a lot of squeaking on your belt and stuff like that, and the reason for that is because, okay, this small drive wheel up here, your belt, you can tighten it till the cows come home. See, this belt here, if you run your finger along, or this pulley, if you run your finger along it, you'll feel that all the ridges are up, okay? This is the old pulley. If you run your fingers along it, you'll feel that your fingers are hitting both edges, and these parts in here are worn down. So, it's kind of hard to see it, I know, but you'll be able to tell that these parts are dull. These three in here are dull, and they're worn down. So no matter how much you tighten that belt, it's never really going to grab properly. It'll grab for maybe half an hour or so, you're grinding away, and then it squeals back again. So you think you can just go up here and tighten that up, and you're good. But the problem with that is, this shaft and this shaft have to measure the same on the other side. So when you're tightening, I'll go over it again after. See, right now it's about, mine's about 15 and 3/4 inch from center to center. So when you're tightening, on the other shaft with the other side of this shaft has to be the same as you're tightening it. So you keep it straight. Because if you can just keep tightening one side, it's going to pull this pulley off and it's going to burn. Right? And possibly snap your shaft. I've had it happen. So it kind of has to be straight. They say you can be off by 1/4 inch when you're tightening, but I wouldn't do it. Just keep going and make it nice. You can, because you're later you're tightening, you're loosening the pillow bearings up here, okay? And I'll show you that after when we go to tighten it. Now, if this pulley is worn, like mine, you have to replace it. That's all there is to it. The bottom pulley will probably be fine, but that's where you get all your squealing. It screws up your auto sweep. It it screws you up because you're cutting the stump and you're hearing, and then you got to back off, right? So that's the problem, because if you've done too much of that squealing, you've worn this pulley down, and so you have to remove this pulley, and that's all. There's no question about it. You can also put a ruler across, right? Put a straight ruler across and you'll see with your eye that it won't, these will be higher than these here, okay? So, that's what's happening there. And it's a fucking drag, but that's life. So, go up here, loosen your pillow bearings, okay? Mine are already loose. Wee-haw. Woo-hoo. Okay. Now, that's a good thing, no? Okay. So the next part of this, let's say we're going to remove that pulley and reinstall it and tighten the belts, okay? Okay, so before removing that belt and stuff, there's a few things we have to do, okay? Because that belt wants to come back. Here's the shaft here. See the pulleys on that side? This is your shaft with your pillow bearings. Loosen up your pillow bearings, right? Okay, and then we want this whole system basically to come down to loosen the drive belt, eh? So what we have to do as well is loosen this belt. Now, you think that's freaky? Don't worry. The motor moves forward and backwards, and don't worry about that belt because it's hooked up to the motor. You don't have to tighten that belt. Now, okay, down here, there's one bolt there, one bolt there, 9/16. Loosen that up. Okay, loosen those two up. Now we're going to go, sorry about that, the gate. This is the only way to do it, really. Okay, now we go back around this side and we loosen this bolt and that bolt. See, there's 4, 9/16, and the whole motor will slide back and forth. As you can see here, there's the adjustment. You can see that gap there. I've also loosened it up and made a gap, okay? And up here, by this pillow bearing, there's another one, see? You can loosen this up, or this one here is going to want to go down anyway because we want to loosen this whole shaft and bring it down. If you have a problem, just wiggle the motor, or it might just pull it ahead anyways, and then later we'll reverse it to tighten. So you see that one there at the top, at that pillow bearing, right? Now there's another one right here. It's kind of tough to see in there, eh? There, see it? Right there. There's another one. That's the one you're going to be backing off. So undo the locking bolt, which is there. If you can see it. there's a locking bolt, then you can turn that in to loosen this belt. All right, so you guys do that, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, here we go then. All right, so I've loosened off the locking nut. You'll see where the shaft is here, the pillow bearing behind it. There's that bolt there. Loosen off the locking nut, and then it's about a 1/2 inch, eh? And you just keep cranking it in. You can feel it. Put your hands on the belt, and we're going to loosen it nicely so that we can get it off. Okay. Like I said, if your pulley's good, then you can just tighten it. Later, just follow the tightening instructions. Okay, and here we go with loosening. All right. As you're loosening, you can even pull the belt, you'll see. So you've loosened your pillow bearings, you've loosened your lock nut there, and away we go, eh? We're going into obsidian. Okay, that's good. Alright. See? The whole pillow bearing's moving, right? So you're good. Okay, before we get it too loose then, what we're going to do to loose la trick is we're going to do this now. Now this pulley here, a lot of people don't know that, find the keyway, right? And then there's an Allen key that goes in there. And you have to loosen that off. It's a lock for the keyway, so it doesn't slide too far in or too far out. See what I mean? And just loosen it off a couple of times until you're happy with it. Here we go. Okay, now we've done that. The next step, obviously, as you can tell, is we have to undo these 3 bolts. It's nice maybe to leave the belt on, give you something to. Okay, so I'm going to take these out, and we're going to put them in the other holes that acts as its own self-pulley. Okay, so I loosen up the keyway like we talked about. Find the keyway, find the hole, there's a little hole there, get the Allen key and loosen that lock. So I took the 3 bolts out of here. You'll see. You've probably seen the pulling before. There's another guy who shows you how to take the pulley off to change the hydraulic belt, which is pretty good. He'll show you how to take off this pulley nicely. It's so there we know these are for going in. Now, when it's threaded there, these are going to act like a self-pulley. So you tighten in until it hits, and tighten it a bit more, tighten it a bit more, tighten it a bit more. Go clockwise. Don't try to tighten this really hard. Just tighten, 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 tighten. You got the idea. You'll start to see that it'll come out, and then this centerpiece is going to pop out. It'll have the keyway there, which probably usually stays in the same position. And the pulley, as you can see, it's just smooth inside. If you want to clean it, if you're putting an old pulley back on, you want to clean the inside of that. I put a new pulley on, so I'm not going to take it off. But anyway, you would just pull this off. If you want, you can spin it, get the belt off. It's not that hard. Okay, so you take that pulley out, and then put your new pulley in. Doesn't matter where. Just hold it there, and then this centerpiece will slide in here. Try and line up the bolts where it's going to. See, you can see where the bolts here, they pushed when we took them off to act as a puller. Then later, you line them up so that these holes are going to go back into those holes. You'll feel it because it'll slide right through. The other holes are threaded, so you can't make a mistake there. Okay, and also, here's a good tip. Before you order your pulley, and you don't have to order it from the manufacturer, find a belt and pulley place nearby, and the numbers are actually engraved here by laser. They're so small that you need a microscope from NASA to see them. But they're there. Before you order it, just take it off, clean the back part, this is on the back, clean it off, and you'll get the numbers, and you can order a piece. Again, this pulley here, let's just go through that again really quickly. Just undo your Allen key, take them off, put those bolts in where it's threaded, use it as a pulley, take it off. This is what squeezes the pulley after. See, there's a slit here. So once you go to tighten it, it kind of opens up and squeezes the inside of this. So it's not going to move. And plus you have an Allen key here to hold that. Again, when you're taking off an old one, okay, that's the flat side is going to the back. When you're taking off an old one, it might be crusty and stuff like that. Don't take a bar and bend and bend and bend. If it's the old one, you can you know, keep turning, turning, turning. Hit here with a hammer, a steel hammer, if it's the old one. Spin the wheel, you know what I mean? Spin it, hit with a hammer, hit with a hammer. Try and squeeze some WD-40 in there, a little in here if you can. And when you go to put your new pulley on, you'll see, it's not that hard. Try to see how much this is sticking out and how much this is sticking out. Right here, that little edge. And the Allen key, try to keep the Allen key as far out as you can, not really far. Or sorry, the pin, your drive pins. And there's a pin here. Do the same thing, put it on. And, okay, back to taking it off. It might not want to come because you're tightening, won't tighten anymore. So give it even a tap here, tap, 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 lightly. On the old pulley, you can hit harder, okay? And then you'll get it to come off and you'll see. Then clean the shaft and this and that. Put your other one back on. And then I'm going to show you how to tighten all the belts back up again. Okay, let's say you got your pulley back on, okay, guys? I'm sorry I didn't go through the whole thing for you, but like I said, there's another guy on YouTube close to me that shows you how to remove the hydraulic belt. He takes the pulley off, so he can show you how to do it. It's not that hard. Don't forget also the Allen key is in there, okay? So now we got this belt tight, right? So what we want to do is measure, because we need the shaft to be straight on both sides, right? So that your belt isn't doing, you know, this or that, right? It could start to pull off the pulley. So mark your center points there. This one here is about 15 1/4, I'd say. I'm just going to check the other side there. That's 15 1/4. 15 1/4. Now, on this upper side here, what do we got? We've got 15 1/2. So we want to bring this one down. So how we do that is, again, with a 1/2 inch, coming up to this one here on this side, this other pillow bearing, okay? Because we want to get it. Oh, and actually I want it to be higher. So loosen it up a bit. Okay? Right? See that? The one over here? You might not be able to see it, but I'm going to grab the camera after by hand and show you how to do the rest. Okay, so now this is what we're doing here. Yes. It seems difficult and complex, but it's not really if you think about it. Alrighty. There we go. Okay, so let's say we're 15 1/2 there. And you like where the belt is, because this is the tool for the belt, if you have it. It has to deflect like a 1/4 inch at 110 pounds torque. And this can only move a 1/4 inch, okay? So that's pretty tight, actually. But anyway, as you keep doing that, you will take this pillow bearing here and bring it up until you get it to the pounds that you want. And then, again, you measure, let's say it's 15 1/2, okay? You measure there. When you've got it at 110 pounds and deflects a 1/4 inch, which means it moves a 1/4 inch, tightened, and at 110 pounds. Okay, so here we have 15 1/2 inches. It's good. So, okay, give me a second, because I have to hold the camera by hand to show you how to do the rest. Thanks.